We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello, and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Kiss, Blood and Stardust. This is the first issue from Dynamite. I believe this is a 4 or 5 part miniseries. And it was written by Brian Hill, art by Rodney Buscemi, colorist Adriano Augusto, letterer was Troy Peteri, editor Kevin Kentner. Now, this starts off with a rock concert, of course, of Kiss, and then it kind of works its way over to the beginning of the actual storyline. We've got this famous musician from they called him a David Bowie second rater, so he's sort of a semi-celebrity, and this does take place in 1978, I think. And this guy turns out to be a vampire. Well, Kiss is on their way to another concert when their bus is hit by a semi-truck, and they find themselves dead. And they meet Lilith, who is the one that made this guy immortal. For those of you who don't know, it's the mythological character that allegedly was Adam's first wife before Eve, and she was too independent, so she was removed from that position and replaced with Eve, who was crafted from Adam's rib, whereas this woman was not. She was supposedly created at the same time. It's from an old Jewish text. Anyway, that's not important right now. What's important is that she's got an offer for Kiss that if they do what she says, they can be alive again and not dead, and she explains that vampires, werewolves, and ghosts are all real, and she wants them to work with her. And that means confronting this guy on her behalf, because she can't kill him, but they can. That is sort of the issue. It's really just story building. Now, as far as the art goes, it's serviceable. It's better than most of Dynamite's art. Some of it's a little rough, but overall, it's pretty solid art. I didn't hate it. I thought Kiss looked good. They actually looked like they did back then, and the monsters all look cool. Even the vampire guy looked pretty good. Overall, pretty solid. There's a little trait, the bad guy's working with the Illuminati. That's such an overused villain at this point that it's a little hackneyed, but overall, the plotting was pretty good. The pacing was real good. Brian Hill's a pretty good writer, so I had no issue with it at all. I actually really enjoyed this. I kind of didn't think I would, but I was inspired to pick this up because of the Kiss Army of Darkness crossover, and I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. And I do like this cover with Gene Simmons on it. Looks really cool. But overall, I thought it was fun. Was it worth $4? I didn't feel ripped off, although the paper quality on the inside is really, really cheap. It's glossy paper, but it's really thin. The cover, however, is really well done. They have the reverse Marvel problem, where Marvel has garbage covers and kind of normal interior. This has great cover and pretty mediocre interior. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. If you're a Kiss fan, or you're just looking for something out of the ordinary, or you like supernatural stuff, you might enjoy this. Especially if you like the old Chaos comics, you'll probably like this. As far as like a superhero tale, it's not really that. If you're just looking for something, change of pace, or a fun read, this is pretty solid. Is it going to be a classic? I doubt it, but I thought it was fun. So I'm going to recommend it. I had a good time reading it, and I look forward to the next issue. But that, as always, is just my opinion. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss future reviews, and we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello, and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Kiss, Blood and Stardust, Issue 2. This miniseries is written by Brian Hill, art by Rodney Buscemi, colorist Adriano Augusto, letterer was Troy Peteri, editor Kevin Kentner. Now, I have cover A, which is art and color by Stuart Sager. I really like that cover. I think it's really dynamic, really cool looking. I'm not generally a huge fan of this, really rough line work, where it's just seemingly random, but this is really cool looking. Now, we get into the issue, and we pick up where we left off with Kiss talking to Lilith. She retells a version of her origin, slightly different than the typical Jewish story of Lilith's origin, and we get how she's the mother of demons, and she's the origin of magic, that sort of thing. And there's some back and forth with Kiss. It's a lot of character building. Then we go back in time to 1969, because remember this takes place in the 70s, and we learn how Derek Crowley first met Lilith, and how he became the rock star known as Moonsun. Well, he abused that power and betrayed Lilith, and now she wants Kiss to go after Crowley and take him down. Well, Crowley is going after this pretty blonde girl that he met that apparently is destined to kill him, and he sets a demon after her. So we have to find out if Kiss can save this girl Alicia, or if Crowley's going to succeed. We've got an interesting story here. This is definitely more of a character-driven issue. There's some action, but not a lot. Overall, the art's pretty decent. I did like the art style. It's okay. It works fine for the issue. I thought the girl Alicia was drawn really well. The Kiss characters are drawn pretty well, and we even get their names: Starchild, Space Ace, Catman, and Demon. But unfortunately, that comes closer to the end of the issue, when that probably should have been near the front. But it's still a cool spread. Paper quality, the cover is really nice, but the glossy paper inside is really thin. It's clearly nice quality paper, but it's been cut a lot thinner than usual, probably to save money, and I think that's going to make it easily damaged in the end. So I'd be a little wary of that. But overall, I don't feel cheated for my $4. I'm going to recommend it. Issue 1 was okay. This one was actually better than issue 1, and it's advancing the plot pretty significantly. It's more of a character development issue and a little bit of world building, but it is a mini series, and issue 3 is clearly where more action is going to happen. And I would definitely recommend it if you're a Kiss fan or you like the Kiss mythology. If you're a Phantom of the Park fan, you're probably not gonna really like the way they handle their mystical powers in this. But if you've seen Kiss Phantom of the Park, well, good for you, because that's pretty hard to find. But overall, I would definitely say this is a decent issue. I didn't feel ripped off for my money, like I said, so I would recommend it. But that's just my take on it. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss future reviews, and we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Kiss, Blood and Stardust, issue 3. This is written by Brian Hill, art by Rodney Beecham, colorist was Adriano Augusto, letterer Troy Pateri, editor Kevin Kettner. I have cover A by Stuart Sager, and I really like the cover. It's very dynamic. It's not something that you look real close at and see all the nuance. No, it's a distance picture. From a distance it looks awesome. Up close and personal you start to see a little flaws. But it's a cool cover. So Kiss managed to get Alicia safely to this diner, but Derek Moonstone has other plans, and he is more than willing to sacrifice his compatriots, and he sends a new demon after Kiss. Now, unfortunately, Kiss does not quite understand how to use the powers they were given by Lilith. They do still have to save Alicia, and there's an interesting twist at the end of the issue. Overall, this was actually probably the best issue so far of the series. The art is the same as the previous 2 issues. It's okay. I didn't hate it. I thought the story was good. It was shockingly interesting, since this is a rock and roll band from the 70s. And if you're a Kiss fan, you'll probably dig it. If you like what they've been doing with Kiss in the comic books, I think you'll really like where this miniseries is going, but we'll see how it plays out. So this is a recommend. I thought it was fun. I think the average person would probably enjoy it as a miniseries if they got it out of the discount bin. It's definitely not going to be for the average comic book reader, but if you're a big Kiss fan, you'll probably like it. So that being said, I'm going to recommend this. I thought the art was okay. It's actually a little better than the previous issue, and the story is actually quite a bit of fun. And like I said previously, if you're a fan of Kiss and you like the whole aspect of them having the powers to the Destroyer, them getting extra powers from Lilith here is not going to really be particularly disturbing or annoying, because it doesn't seem like it's that much different than what they did before. And the whole subplot with Derek Moonstone was actually getting better here, because it shows exactly how corruptible he is. I thought it was a solid book, plus that cover is awesome, and Brian Hill's a pretty solid writer. So this was fun, and if you get a chance to pick it up, if you like Brian Hill's other work, you'll probably want to check out the discount bin for this, because you might find it to be fairly entertaining. I did, and I'm going to recommend it. That being said, that's just my take on it. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews, and we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Kiss, Blood and Stardust, issue 4. This is from Dynamite Comics, 2018, written by Brian Hill, art by Rodney Buscemi, colorist was Adriano Augusto, letterer Troy Pateri, editor Kevin Kettner. I have cover A by Stuart Sager. Now, like I've said before with these covers, it looks really awesome as long as you're a little ways away from it. The closer you get to it, the more you look at it, the more kind of abstract it looks, like a Monet. But I do like the cover. I think it's really cool and dynamic. It kind of makes you think there's something interesting going on in here. And this issue is mainly a fight issue. We have Kiss fighting this monster, and at the same time, Lilith is talking to Alicia and recruiting her to, I don't know, following her, worshiping her, I don't know. But Lilith was once hunted by some angels, and of course she is has a flexible morality, as the kids would say. And of course this doesn't go well for Derek, who is trying to, eliminate Alicia and the others, and he has to go and get some more reinforcements. That leads us into the next issue, and boom, cliffhanger ending. It's kind of a weak cliffhanger ending in my opinion, but overall it's an okay issue. It felt a little padded, like they were pushing for the trade paperback, but it was okay. I don't think it was worth $4, but it was a decent read. If you can find these for $1 or $2, they'd probably be worth picking up, especially if you're a Kiss fan. If you like the Kiss mythology of the comic books where they have powers from the Destroyer, you'll probably like them. They're pretty fun for that. This series is a little different, and Brian Hill's a pretty solid writer, so I'm enjoying it. It's just not something that's really honestly worth $4 at this point. And this issue is definitely a little weaker than the last issue because it felt like it was drawn out a little too much. I enjoyed the story overall. I just wish I hadn't paid cover price for it. That being said, I would recommend it if you can find it cheap. But that's just my take. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you want to help the channel in other ways, links are in the description and on the About page, and we hope to see you on the next one.
We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Kiss, Blood and Stardust, issue 5, written by Brian Hill, art by Rodney Buscemi, colorist was Adriano Augusto, letterer was Troy Pateri, editor Kevin Kettner. I have cover A, which was art and color by Stuart Sager. Now this is the final issue of the miniseries. We have Alicia making her passage to being a servant of Lilith, while the band Kiss prepares for their final confrontation with Derek, and he is trying to get assistance from a demon, so he turns everybody at a concert into minions, and it just sort of ends. It's a very rushed book. The art is the same quality as the other issues. It's a little bit of a mixed bag at times. Some of the scenes look pretty cool, others need a little bit more work, but for a Dynamite book, it's not bad. It's a fairly decent digital art. The monsters looked cool. Kiss looked fine. The ending was incredibly rushed, though. It really felt kind of like there was too much being wedged into this book that really needed more room to expand upon. Parts of this probably could have been in the previous issue, since they kind of gloss over the ending of that one, and it's not really addressed as to why that power was manifest in that issue and not really utilized more in this one. So I think this probably should have been expanded into an issue and a half, and half of the last issue could have been cut down a little bit. There were a lot of problems I had with the story being too compressed in this issue. It's a very weak ending for the miniseries, and it does hurt it overall. I would have a hard time recommending the whole thing. I really like the cover. It's really cool, like all the other ones. From a distance, it looks really cool, but up close, you start seeing a lot of flaws with it. And that's kind of how I feel about the whole storyline. There were elements that were really good, but once you really start to think about it and look at it, there are a lot of flaws with it. And this issue really exemplifies that. There's like a sense of weird girl power sort of thing, like self-realization, and it really was too heavy-handed in some respects and never actually elaborated on what this girl's powers are. Like, she can sing. That seems to be her whole magic power, and it's kind of glossed over and it just abruptly ends. So it's not really said as to what happens with this girl. There's no indication that it's going to be part of a greater storyline or anything. It just sort of exists. So I think Brian Hill tried pretty hard to tell a coherent story, but the ending was just incredibly weak. If you really like Kiss, you might like this series, but the way it ended was just a deal breaker for me. I can't recommend this for trade paperback if you're buying it new. If you're gonna buy it used or at an extreme discount, okay, as a Kiss fan you might enjoy it, but as a casual comic reader, I don't think you're gonna like the ending. The payoff just isn't there. It doesn't have the same impact that it probably was meant to have or should have had, and the characters all just feel very rushed through the whole thing, so the pacing's off pretty considerably. So I'm gonna say, unless you're a diehard Kiss fan and you're picking this up at a really massive discount, don't bother. That being said, that's just my opinion. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews, and we hope to see you on the next one.